Saturday, May 28th, 9:33 a.m. And I just came across something that made me so happy. All right, so I was trying to get caught up on Monsignor Stephen Rossetti, the Exorcist blog, and I came across this. Was not the last one he posted. I talked about that in the last video actually, but this one slipped by me. Exorcist Diary number 190, posted on May 14th. Demons Witness to Sanctity of Knights of Columbus founder. And so I want to just give a little bit of a background on Father McGivney, who is the Knights of Columbus founder. So first of all, let's talk about the miracle that led to his beatification. It was a, let's see, it was a gift, the miraculous cure of a child in the womb. So, this particular child, apparently in Tennessee, was given no hope of surviving after doctors discovered what was considered a fatal case of fetal hydrops while still in the womb. And it opened the door to the beatification of Blessed Michael McGivney. And so that's extraordinarily important that the miracle associated with him in these times was for a child who was not yet born, a child in the womb. And so, with everything going on with abortion, we can see how important this is. But that's not all. So I would also like to point out, in addition to what we're about to read, he can be invoked as a saint for a pro-life cause. And what I find so fascinating is the actual patron saint of the pro-life cause is Saint Maximilian Kolbe. Okay, so aside from being saints that can be invoked against the abortion demons, these saints are also invoked for what? The battle against Freemasonry. Why? Because, I'm about to explain, the liberal ideologies born in the lodges of Freemasonry are directly responsible for abortion. And so so let's look at the Miraculous Medal, something I recently just found out, which put everything together for me. The Miraculous Medal. This is a medal that, if you are a part of the Militia of the Immaculata movement founded by Saint Maximilian Kolbe, you are required to wear this medal every day, and recite the prayer on it. Mary conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee, especially the enemies of Holy Church and all those recommended to thee. And so, how do these connect? Well, when Catherine Labouré, the nun, got the vision, the apparitions for the Miraculous Medal, I think it was either that apparition or whenever her apparition started, it was like 7 days before a Masonic uprising in France. And at that time, Karl Marx was visiting France as a child. He was in France, and so he witnessed this. And so a lot of people say that, he was so familiar with revolutions from, a child, it went into his communist ideology. And as we know, Freemasonry and the liberal ideology sets the groundwork for communism to come in. It softens communities, it softens churches and things, and allows communism to come in and take over. It plants the seeds, so to speak. And so we see this really played out in physical life with Karl Marx witnessing this Masonic uprising, and this may be planting seeds in him for his communist Marxist agenda that is now permeating everything. And so this idea of Freemasonry, and so who was the first nation to legalize abortion? Well, it was the Soviet Union, a communist country, a communist group of countries, I guess you can say. So you can see how it all goes hand in hand. And so what a lot of people don't understand about why Father McGivney founded the Knights of Columbus, it wasn't only because, so it was a twofold reason. The first reason was that the immigrant women, mostly the Irish Catholic immigrants, were having their children taken away. So the men were dying early. They were so poor, they couldn't find work or whatever, that the state was coming in and literally taking their children. And so that's where you get the insurance aspect, the life insurance aspects of the Knights of Columbus. He founded it kind of as an insurance policy where they would be able to give money to these widows to help them not have their children taken away. Because a lot of times what would happen, well, when these kids got taken by the state, that was the end of them practicing the Catholic faith, because the state in Connecticut at that time was, Protestant. It wasn't a Catholic state by any means. So there was that problem. And then, but furthermore, he founded it as an alternative to Freemasonry, because these immigrants were so poor, they were coming here and they couldn't get jobs. So they would join these fraternal organizations, especially the Freemasons, in order to get a job, in order to network and get jobs. And so he understood the dangers of this, the dangers and how of Freemasonry, and how it could not go along with the Catholic faith. So he founded the Knights of Columbus as an alternative. And it was founded at St. Mary's Parish, on, I think it's Hill House. I think it's Hill House Avenue in New Haven, Connecticut. And it was really cool because I remember going home when my grandmother was dying in 2020. And I saw, so I was at Rocco's, my favorite bakery, our favorite family bakery, and I looked across the street, and I forget the parish. It wasn't that parish, but there was a big sign, a big banner talking about Father McGivney's beatification. So it was like a really big deal for the Catholics in New Haven. He has been hailed as a hero, as a saint, as a living saint for generations. So to finalize that was a huge deal. And my family attended St. Mary's Parish before they moved out of the New Haven area. And I believe his relics are in there as well. So it was a big deal. And my mom, I think my mom and my aunt went to elementary school at St. Mary's, Catholic elementary school at St. Mary's Parish. And so personally, like, I thank Father McGivney, because I don't have to deal with this curse of Freemasonry. And I think it's in large part because my family was all involved in the Knights of Columbus. And so they didn't have to, that was what they joined. They didn't join the Freemasons. So who knows if Knights of Columbus wasn't a thing, if they would have joined that. I mean, it could be a whole different outlook. So it's one curse and one set of demons that, by the grace of God, I don't have to deal with on a familiar, personal level on any side of my family. Praise be Jesus. So this is the St. Mary's Parish, New Haven, Connecticut, and his feast day is August 13th. And so one of the days of the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima, talking about, communism and things like this. So again, so symbolic. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not. And this is what it says about him. Every Mass, every public rosary, every adoration, every confession at St. Mary's happens over a place of special importance for laity of the Catholic Church. In the United States and beyond, the place where Father Michael McGivney founded the Knights of Columbus, serving as an assistant for about 6 years at St. Mary's before being entrusted with a parish of his own. And that was not in New Haven, the parish he eventually was the pastor over. But he started the Knights of Columbus in New Haven. He certainly fulfilled the ordinary duties of a parish priest well with great virtue. He changed our parish through events, personal visits, involvement in groups, and organization of social events. Most importantly, he changed the way the laity saw their vocation and fulfilled it in founding the Knights of Columbus in 1882. He was considered bold for holding the laity, especially laymen, to a high standard of fidelity to the Catholic faith, contrary to clericalism. And that's so important. He believed in the ability of laity to make a difference in their families, in the church, and in society. Our parish was only the testing grounds for his ideas. It has grown over many decades to be shaped by his high standards for the laity spiritually and his spiritual trust that laymen, lay women, and families can be saints. And so it's a huge deal. So yeah, it was a big deal for my family. So Church of St. Mary's, you can't really see it, but I think he had a part in also building this church or renovating it. I think it was he had to revenerate it because there was so many immigrants coming into New Haven at that time that it just couldn't hold them. So they built this big, beautiful church. So let's get back to Monsignor Rossetti, and I think you're going to find this interesting. The exorcism sessions were intense, but God blessed the young afflicted woman, who turned out to be a real spiritual warrior. She had, through no apparent fault of her own, generational evil spirits, including Freemasonry, from the family line. She was determined to follow a religious vocation, and the demons were having none of it. The battle ensued. She held up her end with valor. Much initial progress had been made, although the intensive sessions took a toll on everyone present. At one point, an attending priest took out a relic of Father Michael McGivney, recently beatified founder of the Knights of Columbus, and handed it to the exorcist. Interestingly, Father McGivney originally founded the charitable Knights of Columbus partly as a Catholic alternative to the lure of the secretive cultic Freemasons. The exorcist took the relic and said, "Through the intercession of Blessed Father Michael McGivney, I command the demons to leave." The young woman said she heard the demons mocking him. That country priest, are you kidding me? Exorcists recognize in demons' mocking behavior often their underlying terror of what is to come. Then the exorcist said, "I ask the Lord to manifest the sanctity of Michael McGivney through the pain the demons endure." The demons let out a blood-curdling scream, more so than during the previous prayers. These screams were louder and tinged with desperation. It was clear to everyone in the room that something important was happening. The relic was then placed on the crown of the afflicted woman's head, and the demons let out another blood-curdling scream. At the same time, the attending priest read the prayer for the canonization of Blessed Michael McGivney. Each time the relic touched her body, she writhed and screamed. The exorcist again commanded the demons to leave through the intercession of Father McGivney. She convulsed and started to cough up a white, frothy foam, typical in an exorcism, especially as demons begin to leave. Then the writhing and screams stopped. The woman came back to herself and was at peace. It was clear that a number of the demons had just departed. The exorcism was moving forward when Father McGivney was invoked. The exorcism was moving forward, but when Father McGivney was invoked, it was taken to a new level. Upon reflection, we were not surprised that Father McGivney was so effective against demons of Freemasonry, since he had dedicated his life to an alternative, the Knights of Columbus. Moreover, the reactions of the demons confirmed our own conviction of the sanctity of Blessed Father Michael McGivney. We will certainly invoke this holy priest's intercession in future exorcisms, especially when the demons of Freemasonry are involved. So, a powerful testimony to Father Michael McGivney, founder of the Knights of Columbus. And I would like to say, yeah, so if you're struggling with, demons of Freemasonry or whatever, or just invoking him in general, because America is struggling with the curse of Freemasonry, I'm convinced. He's another good one to ask, him and Maximilian Kolbe. And I don't know of any other ones that specifically have been beatified or canonized that have specifically fought Freemasonry, but I'm sure there's other ones out there. So if you think of any, you can put them in the comments below. But this is really the battle for our times, and it's horrible because I see all these articles coming out about the Vatican participating at Davos and all these things. So we really need to invoke these saints who were having none of the Freemasonic ideology and ask them on behalf of, ask for their intercession on behalf of the whole church, which has clearly lost her way. So that is all. Joan of Arc Media out.